What is up, everybody? It's JT Sports. I'm back to you guys with another video, and I want to talk about former Jackson State wide receiver Daylen Baldwin transferring to the University of Michigan. This is a really big pickup for Michigan football. Daylen Baldwin is an absolute baller. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. He caught 25 catches for 520 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns this past season for Jackson State. In the first half, when Jackson State was playing against Mississippi Valley State, this guy caught 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, not in the game, but in the first half. This guy is a monster. He has 2 years left of eligibility. He was first team All-SWAC conference. He also won Newcomer of the Year. So for Michigan, this guy not only is going to be a starter, but he's going to be your best wide receiver right away. And Michigan doesn't really have a lot of productivity at the wide receiver position, in my opinion, right now. So Daylen Baldwin definitely gives that group a boost. And when you look at Daylen Baldwin, he reminds me a lot of CeeDee Lamb. Him and CeeDee Lamb kind of have similar playing styles in terms of what they're able to do outside of the numbers. This guy is a good mix of physical and finesse. This guy is great when it comes to catching 50-50 balls, contested catches. He's also great after the catch. And for Michigan, you really needed this. And this guy was heavily touted by a lot of schools. He had offers to go to Central Michigan, Kent State, and your rival, Ohio State, as well of other programs as well. So for Daylen Baldwin choosing Michigan over Ohio State, that's probably going to confuse or kind of puzzle a lot of people. Some people may be like, well, he probably went to Michigan because he had a better chance of starting there than he did at Ohio State. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think Daylen Baldwin is good enough that he pretty much could start at any program he chooses to. Like, this guy is a baller. This guy has first round potential written all over him. And when you look at Michigan, it's good to have guys like this in the transfer portal that you're able to receive that have already pretty much reached the peak of their development, because Michigan, in my opinion, hasn't really been all that great when it comes to developing players on the offensive side of football. I think that's a large reason why we have the gap between Ohio State and Michigan, because Ohio State is way better when it comes to developing their offensive players than it is Michigan. And Michigan doesn't bring in bad recruiting classes. Michigan does recruit pretty well year in and year out. Now, of course, they're not recruiting on the level of their rival, but they are recruiting pretty solid. And for Michigan, if they're ever going to be able to compete with Ohio State, I think it's going to have to come down to how effective they are when it comes to being able to get impact players like Baldwin out of the transfer portal, because this coaching staff hasn't really showed me that they're good when it comes to developing talent on that side of football. So if the gap is ever going to be closed just a little bit, I think they're going to have to do it throughout the transfer portal until they can prove to me and everybody else that they know what they're doing when it comes to developing the wide receivers, the quarterbacks, and the offensive talent on that side of the football. Now, Daylen Baldwin is a guy who can win outside of the numbers. Some people want him to kind of extend his route tree to the fact that he's running more routes inside of the numbers, more routes in the middle of the field, which is understandable. I think Michigan most definitely is going to be able to do that, and I'm really interested to see how Josh Gaddis is going to try to factor this man into the offense, because there's nothing this guy can do. Like, he can pretty much do it all. He has great size. This guy is probably going to be a potential first round pick, and he probably could be the best wide receiver that Michigan has had in a very long time. Like, the best wide receiver I can think of from Michigan is probably Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm not talking about all time or anything like that, because I know there's a lot of you college football historians out there. I'm talking about of recent memory. Who is the best Michigan wide receiver of within the last 4 to 5 years who probably comes into your head? It's probably Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I think Daylen Baldwin right away is going to prove to be a big asset to that passing game for Michigan, and they're expected to be starting a young quarterback this year. So I think it's going to be really good having Daylen Baldwin on this Michigan football team. Like I said, this guy is no slouch. He was recruited and he was sought after by a lot of programs, and not G5 programs, Power 5 programs. And if Ohio State offered this guy, I think that tells you how good he actually is. And he didn't go to Michigan because that's the only place he was going to be on the field. Like, he could have played and started on any program he chose. That's how good this guy actually is. And if Daylen Baldwin doesn't work out for Michigan and he ends up being a disappointment, then I think this is going to be another strike against Coach Harbaugh and his Michigan coaching staff when it comes to, you know, not being able to get the most out of the guys they have on the offensive side of the football. So I think Daylen Baldwin is an incredible pickup. This guy is going to be a great asset to this offense, like winning outside the numbers. He's also very physical. This guy also can prove to be a true #1 wide receiver in terms of this isn't just somebody who just is a one-trick pony. You're not going to have him running streak routes all day, post routes and flag routes. He can do everything. If you need him to run routes in the middle of the field, he can do that. If you need him to create a big play with the ball in his hands, you can give him the ball on screen plays. You can also give him the ball on third downs. He can move the chains. Like, Daylen Baldwin is the true package. He can do everything. When I watch him from Jackson State, I just see so much of CeeDee Lamb in terms of what CeeDee Lamb was when he was playing for OU a year back. So Daylen Baldwin, great pickup out of the transfer portal for Michigan. You guys let me know how you guys feel about this down in the comment section down below. How good do you guys feel Daylen Baldwin is going to be this year? Make sure that you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos, and thanks for watching.